quick bullet things, like 60% of things that go on your skin get absorbed, and so that's think of all those toxins that are going in your body, and toothpaste has poison control on a lot of it. So just real bullet things. Does that sound like a plan or good idea?
Oh, okay. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Awesome. But you're I would say, and I think Jen would agree, is just making friends. Just be the nice person that they meet all day, just somebody that they want to be best friends with, and they'll listen to what you have to share when you do that.
Okay, sounds good.
That's my opinion.
All righty.
Well, I would agree. Okay. Yep. We're recording.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's class. Jen's going to be the teacher, but I had asked her if I could sort of open up and introduce her. And so Jen's going to share all of her knowledge, but I have some opinions. And so I told her I was going to share a couple of opinions. But tonight's class is about just getting toxins out of our homes. And I wanted to share a story with you. First of all, why I decided to get toxins out of my home, and then sort of a result of what happened when I did that. And it was about 2.5 years ago. I am getting up in age. In fact, tomorrow is my 49.5 birthday. Yay! So a couple of years ago, I started thinking about this time in my life, and just really wanted to fix support my hormones, because that's what happens in your late 40s. You need support of your hormones. So I called Jen. Jen got me signed up to start this Young Living life that I had no idea was going to be as big as it turned into, because I thought I was just buying a few oils. But it turns out I was buying just a new life, really. Mm-hmm. And so one of the first things that I did when I got my kit was I got rid of all the candles in my house and replaced them with a diffuser. In fact, this diffuser right here is the one that I got 2.5 years ago. And so I don't use candles anymore, just use the diffuser in the house. We have several throughout the house now. And my husband's favorite thing in the winters has always been to burn candles. So now he's got diffusers even in his office that he absolutely loves. After replacing our candles, I started replacing cleaners. A lot of stuff was DIY, but I was getting rid of some of those really what I thought were good smelling cleaners, and they weren't. They were icky smelling, and when I smell them now, I get terrible headaches. And so after I had gotten rid of a lot of that stuff, I started realizing that my little puppy Darcy, she's a little girl who had seizures for about a year. A couple times a month, she would have a seizure. I can still remember the first time she had one. We had no idea what was going on. Then we just started realizing, okay, this is something that she's been doing. But it was a couple months after that I had gotten rid of everything that I realized she hadn't had a seizure for a couple months. And it has now been over 2 years, and Darcy has been seizure-free, and our house has been toxin-free. So I love sharing that story because while I didn't notice it in little kids that I have in my house, I know a lot of you guys have little kids in your house who are on your carpets, who are on your floors after you clean them with those pretty blue Hawaiian smelly things that they sell in the grocery stores. I like to bring awareness to it, that your little ones are on the floors, they're smelling everything that you do, and they're taking in those toxins. So if you've got anyone in your family who has any sort of that needs some breathing support, maybe needs some mental support. There's all sorts of things that these toxins are doing. And that's why I'm so passionate about this topic, and why I asked Jen to just explain the sciencey detail stuff, because she's an awesome teacher and I keep saying things like all the time. So that's mainly my opening to tonight's class.
Funny.
And I just wanted to pass it on to Jen. Oh, the other note that I have here is that oils are not a hard thing to use. Somebody a couple weeks ago who loves oils and uses them regularly and uses a lot of the Young Living products had expressed to me how hard it is to share oils with friends. And my answer to that, it is not. When you think about what you're doing as far as just removing the toxins out of your house, that takes care of so many ailments that your body may have that you don't really care, what oil do I need to fix yada yada. And in fact, my new response now to when people ask me, what oil do I need for this? My first response is always, have you gotten toxins out of your house? Because if you haven't gotten toxins out of your house, these oils you're wasting your money, because they can only do so much, you guys. So get the toxins out of your house before you really try to start doing anything more that's going to be specific to health. So that's my opinion, but Jen might have some different facts and a different opinion to that.
I love that you called it your opinion. You are so funny.
It is.
Yeah, and I remember when I first met you, like Darcy had been having seizures, and I don't know if you mentioned it to me, but it was when I came to visit you that first time, and you said she hasn't been having any.
Right.
I think was about that time. So, yeah. Okay, there's so many things. So the reason why we're starting this class tonight, Kelly set up this series. I always get it wrong. Kelly, remind me, what is it? What do you call it, the series?
The New Year, New You, Starting Healthy Habits.
Right. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, why can't I remember that? And so when we think about it, many times we think about, weight management, weight loss, whatever, we're getting ourselves healthy. This class that we're doing tonight, I feel like should be just the kicker offer of all weight management classes. And here's why. Yes, thank you, honey. I had my husband get this sheet and I wanted to share it with you guys real quick. I'll say this and then I'll go to that. Because just show of hands, how many of you guys have ever struggled with healthy weight management? I know, like, just eyes on our own paper, we're not judging. This is a no judgment zone. Okay, perfect. So here's the thing, guys. And even me, I mean, I will tell you, I've never been overweight, but I got as big as a house with 4 of my kids. My mom's on here. She could be like, sure did. And because, I mean, hello, I was on the seafood diet. But that said, it takes a while to shed that. And so many of us, we look at, this is the thing. I'll try not to get fired up. I get a little feisty about this topic, just so you know. For those of you guys watching later on the recorded version, if you don't know me, my son had cancer 7 years ago. He's fine. He's 16. He's totally healed and healthy. But what I realized is, because of the cancer, we learned that we were creating the perfect storm for his body to make cancer. Now, cancer is like the worst case scenario, and I get that. And that's not everybody's story. My story is so different from most of the population. However, when you see anybody who has had a weight management struggle ever in their life, 9 times out of 10, it's chemicals in our food, it's chemicals in our home, it's chemicals in our environment that we're not just aware of, but we're not even concerned about. In fact, we will go so far as to argue with each other about, oh, but I need my candles. Oh, but I love my bleach smell. And what we're not realizing is it is literally destroying our DNA. It's destroying our endocrine system. There's a catchy term, and please forgive me, I don't know if it's politically correct or not, but it's gender bender. A lot of these hormone disruptors, a lot of these chemicals are actually causing men to have spikes in estrogen that are ridiculous. And so men are starting to have more effeminate traits, a lot of little boys. Girls, it's causing us to have low estrogen levels, low progesterone, and higher testosterone levels. Not always, but a lot of times, like, this can be a thing. And so what we don't realize is these chemicals in our home that, you might look at Kelly's story and say, oh, well, my dog doesn't have seizures, or maybe her dog just had some other issues. But guys, you don't know how bad you feel until you don't feel bad anymore. And if you have not completely gotten rid of all chemicals, then I'm going to challenge you tonight to do that, or today, or whenever you're reading this. So if you haven't done it yet, please take the time right now and download the app. It's called Think Dirty. Don't anybody get weird about the name of the app. But it looks like this. It looks like this when you first open it. It's free. It's available for Android or iPhones. Download it now and take the time to do a 3-cabinet challenge. write down some products that you know now just on your notepad. And while we're talking, go through. I'm not going to take the time to explain how the Think Dirty app, but it gives a rating. And you can rate your home products, whether it's toothpaste, whether it's hair care, any of that on there, whatever's under your sink, whatever you wash your clothes with. And that'll give you a really good indication of how clean are your products. You want your products to rate at least a 3 or lower on the Think Dirty app. Some of your products may not have it, but what you can do then, or they may not be on that app, but you can go ahead and educate yourself and say, well, what's in this Fabuloso, right? That's like the 99-cent you get at the dollar store. Okay. Many times, just to Kelly's point, as people have said to me over the 7 years I've been using oils, oh, they're just too hard, or I can't figure them out. And I laugh because these are people with more letters after their name than I would ever even want to have. Might say these things to me, and I'm like, it's just a bottle of oil. You just throw it on and call it a day. And yet we look at it with terror in our eyes and fear and like, if I do this, I might grow hair on my face. That will not happen. I promise you. I promise. It's very simple. It's not easy though, guys. Health and wellness now in 2017 is not easy. It is simple. There's a difference. Easy is putting on socks and shoes, unless it's really cold out and then you want to stay in bed. That's easy. Making a piece of toast, super easy. Simple, taking care of your health in 2017, not easy. Because most of us on here, and very likely anyone who's watching this later, grew up with Better Living Through Chemicals, grew up with cinnamon, vanilla, apple smells that mean clean, right? When we would have a cleaning lady come in, I would make sure I'd light the candle afterwards because, I wanted to smell fresh and nice. I wanted it to smell like the ocean, even though I live in the middle of Texas. That's not natural. Most of us grew up thinking that clean smelled like Lysol or pine and lemon and all of these things. And what we don't realize, and we don't want to realize, is that all of those good smells are actually destroying our thyroid, which then in turn destroys our adrenal glands, which if you're a woman, it destroys your ovaries, and then on, and your pituitary gland, and all of these things just in our sweet little endocrine system. Never mind our livers, which are inundated. I've done so many classes lately. I'm like, did we talk about our liver last week, Kelly? A little bit. We talked a little bit because I mentioned doing a colon cleanse first and then do a liver detox. But our liver, you guys, I have a whole class on liver detoxing, and if you ever want to watch that, it's fascinating, not because I'm amazing, but because the information is off the charts. Like our liver takes such hits every single day. Okay, I feel like I'm preaching a sermon. I should probably get down to business. So has everybody, raise your hand, everyone in here, give me number 1 in the chat or whatever. If you have downloaded the Think Dirty app, have you taken the 3 cabinet challenge? Awesome. Yay, thumbs up, high fives. Awesome. Okay, so there are chemicals in our household products that can disrupt and affect our weight management. And you might be wondering, okay, how does this work? Does anybody... This is going to be an interactive class because I want to know where are you guys at, and this is going to be good for people who are watching this later. How many of you guys realize or even knew that chemicals can disrupt our hormones? I'm going to mute you guys and start calling on you. Kyle, you, Trish, anybody? Meg saying yes.
I didn't until I met you.
Okay.
I do now.
You do now.
Until I met you.
Yes. Okay. How about you, Kyle? I'll just put you on the spot.
I haven't done a lot of research, so I don't know myself.
Okay. I think it's terribly unfair because so many times when we're looking for healthy weight management, the very first thing we go to is what kind of a diet plan. I giggle because I'm a people watcher. I was a people watcher for 25 years when I was, cut hair, but I listen, and I was just at a party last week and this girl was like, oh, we're starting the Whole30 in January. I'm like, please don't, please. Oh, we're doing paleo in January. Stop. Just don't. And when I say stop, what I mean is do it now. do not wait till January, or don't do it all. Don't do it at all would really be my first vote, because I guarantee if you looked at, you're having hormone problems, kind of as Kelly mentioned ahead of time, weight management, all these two things go hand in hand with chemicals in our home. Here's what can happen. You guys are going to take some notes. I've got some notes here for you. This is all animal studies, by the way. This is not on humans, but they're animal studies. I came across a funny one, and I'm not going to share it in mixed company, but oh my word, it was so stinking funny. Be careful when you are researching endocrine hormone disruptors, because scientists are very sciencey, and they just tell it like it is. And they did a study with otters, and I'm like, I did not need to know that much about an otter's anatomy. Anyway, endocrine disruptors can do a few things. Mimic or partly mimic naturally occurring hormones in the body, like estrogens. I mentioned that. And androgens, sorry, that was tricky for me to say. That's the male sex hormone. Thyroid hormones. And then the endocrine disruptors can possibly cause it to be overstimulated, so they're going to overproduce. They're going to make it too much. There's a very delicate balance that God designed our bodies to live in, okay? And when anything disrupts that balance, I say this all the time, especially to women. If your adrenals are shot, your ovaries are going to be shot. If you're missing a thyroid, your adrenals are working overtime, and your pituitary gland is like doing this business. So the thyroid is not an accessory organ, but doctors will take it out because, oh, we see some nodules. Oh, we see some of this. And if you've had that, I don't know, this is not me curing, treating, or diagnosing, but you actually can grow your thyroid back. I don't know if you guys knew that, but there's that. So you can do some research, or we can have a conversation later about that. But it is not the end of your story. So the second thing is that the endocrine disruptors can bind to a receptor with a cell and block those hormones from binding, from getting to each other. There's a normal signal that fails to occur so that the body doesn't respond properly. So I'll say that a different way. So if you've got chemicals in your home, or you're taking them in through your food, there's just signals all over our body. I should know the amount, but there's just signals firing all the time from our brain to everywhere else. If we have a hormone disruptor, which a disruptor is anything that gets in the way, it's going to fail to signal. So your thyroid is going to fail to signal to your adrenals, or vice versa. They talk to each other back and forth. And so you're not going to get the proper support. Our organs work perfectly in sync together. Okay, so even simpler, just another organ. So our heart pumps, right? It gets the blood, it cleans the blood. And then, I love asking this, because I'm like, who paid attention to biology? Where does the blood go when it is clean? Anybody know? Come on. Who knows this one? I only know this because I homeschool.
The brain?
No, it goes back to itself.
Oh.
I know, right? It's like, oh, duh, of course.
Question.
But do what?
Trick question.
Trick question. It feels like it, but it's so, gosh, you guys, we could do a whole little talk on that, and taking care of ourselves first before we do everything else, taking care of your body first before you take care of all your people or all your home or whatever. The heart, the dirty blood goes in, which is not considered dirty, but let's just call that for argument's sake, gets clean, goes out, and then comes back and feeds the heart first, and then goes to the lungs, which I think is very interesting too, by the way, because our lungs, we need that to breathe. Okay. So the third thing is endocrine disruptors can interfere or block the way natural hormones and the receptors are made or controlled. For an example, it can alter the metabolism in the liver. So that's, we get our metabolism from our liver, our pancreas. So it can block the good behavior that our liver does. It can block good, healthy amounts of cortisol being released, adrenaline being released, any of our feel-good hormones being released. It can disrupt that. So it can actually either make it go crazy, or it can make it suppressed, just depending on the situation. There's a lot of examples of hormone disruptors. I am not going to bore you with it because they're like this long, with names. But I did pull up, give me 1 second. I wanted to make sure that I had some. You guys all know this. I know all of you on here, you do Young Living and you're very aware of it, but just it bears repeating. There's the Dirty Dozen endocrine disruptors. You can Google it. You can go on the Environmental Working Group, but there's BPA, in our plastics, dioxin, atrazine, phthalates, fire retardants, there's lead, arsenic, mercury. All these things, you guys, are in so many of our household products. I mean, on and on it goes. And we don't realize that these things are in our products, everyday products that we use. House So Clean. We don't realize that they're in our foods even. There was a study that I read talking about obesogens. Have you guys heard of this term, obesogens? I know Trish was like, what? My husband was saying, did you just make that word up? No, this other guy did. It was interesting. He was doing research on, again, marine life, because you can do all kinds of, here's another talk real quick. Don't ever drink tap water. Don't drink water straight up from the ocean, because probably our ocean is actually more toxic than we care to think. He did the study on fish, and it was with, I should have left that article up. I don't know that I'll be able to find it again. I'm not even going to take the time to do that, but because it doesn't matter, the chemical name, maybe, I don't know, some of my sciencey nerd friends watching might go, no, I want to know the name of that wood. Sorry, I can't help you. It's something that they treat the hull of ships. So it's like a sealant. Okay. And so they treat that with the hull of ships, right? You're probably thinking, well, yes, they need that because the ship's going to rust, right? Okay, fair enough. Except that ship is sitting in our ocean water. How many of you guys eat fish? You're not going to eat fish after this next thing. Raise your hand. Come on. Let me see you. Raise them proud. All my pescatarians out there, Kyle's like, Kyle, I got news for you. You are too far from the ocean, in my opinion, to eat fish, is all I'm saying. I stopped eating fish when I left California. I digress. And yes, I know that fresh caught, whatever I just ate on the pier in California was probably from Maine. I don't know. So they did the study with these fish, and here's the crazy thing. This chemical constituent that's on the hull of the boats was known to cause the sex to change in fish. I'll say that again. The sex to change in the fish. Talk about gender benders. Okay? This fish that we eat, that not me, you, all you guys watching, eat, you have that chemical in your body from eating that fish. That phrase, you are what you eat, there's a reason why we have that phrase. Yeah, Maribel, ew, gross. I know. And this is the thing, guys. We went plant-based years ago so my husband could lose weight, so my husband could have healthy cholesterol numbers. Now, that is not the lifestyle for everybody, but what it made us do is really look at our food, not just our meat, but looking at how are our plants grown? What are they doing? There's a whole list. We couldn't afford, before Young Living, we couldn't afford to eat everything organic like we do now. It just wasn't in the budget. And please know, as a mom who had a son with cancer, that they kept telling us, it's going to come back, it's going to come back. I was stressed. I thought, oh my gosh, I can't just feed him organic, but then sorry about your bad luck, other kids, talk about everybody thinking he's the favorite. So I struggle with this, but here's the thing, guys. God will provide a way for you to eat the way that you need to for your health. And here's what happened. And I'm sure all of you guys know, but for those that maybe don't, or maybe you've forgotten, but there's the Dirty Dozen list of things that you just are really non-negotiables to eat. Strawberries, apples, breads. Like for us, we eat peanut butter like it's our job. So I bought those things organic. Things that they ate all the time. And when I start with that, it was like, okay, I didn't have to completely revamp my pantry all at once. And then we could just choose those fruits and vegetables, lettuce, things that the pesticides are sprayed on. Now, oranges, even to this day, I'm like, I don't know. I'm still on the fence. So if I know science, I'm like, I should still buy organic oranges, but sometimes I can't find them and I'm like, but I really want an orange. So there's that. Bananas, you know, you choose. Those ones are okay to eat.
Celery.
They're not as sinister. Celery. Thank you. Yeah. Celeries are on the Dirty Dozen, right, Trish? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, bananas aren't, but yeah, celery, cucumbers.
Mm-hmm.
Cucumbers are those, but you guys can Google that too. So really just knowing what is on the Dirty Dozen list can help just radically alter your hormones. And guys, I'm talking to guys too, because men struggle with hormone disruptors, which cause weight issues, which cause all kinds of things. So I brought out this sheet. I had my husband get it for me, and let me see if I can show it to you guys. So here's this little sheet I got. It says, which products do you use? For those of you guys who already do Young Living, it's fascinating. If you want, I'd love all of you guys on here. I know, Maribel, I gave you some already, but I can mail you guys each a sheet, and it's fun to go through and see. So on the first one is like pet care, protein powder and all that, and you check off all the things that you use, and then you flip it over. And it's all the Young Living stuff that we have that you can just easily switch. The nice thing about this is if you're like, oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. Yeah, my whole house needs to be done. I don't know what to do. So you check this off, and then you can say, okay, let's just little by little, month by month, easy plus one. Let's do what's easy now. We talked about that last week. If you watched our weight management video, it's easy plus one. It's what's easy for you to do now, and add like one thing, maybe two things, just depending on cost, and then go from there so that you're not completely overwhelmed by the process. Because I think many times we sit there and we're like, oh my gosh, if you really look at your house, not you, I think probably you guys have a lot of your chemicals out already, but even look at like, what are you eating? Are you still holding on to that perfume? If you're like me, okay, here's my secret. The secret's out, you guys. I still use Shaper hairspray. There, I said it. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I mean, I just have yet to find a hairspray. And I'm not lying. Now I tell my kids, go away, I'm spraying my hair. Oh, you got that gene. We don't want to have it mutating again. There it is. So if you're like me and you're like, okay, I cannot give up coloring my hair. Oh, look, there's two tonight. I'm a 2 for 2 coloring my hair. And it's all about this. It's all about the moneymaker, right? If you're like me and you're like, I'm not giving up coloring my hair, I'm not giving up my hairspray, then you need to know everything else is so much more important. Then you need to be very cognizant of the fact that every day, and I'm aware of this, I'm choosing to spray chemicals around my face. I can literally taste it in my mouth. That's probably not good, right? However, I eat tons of greens. So there's ways that you can flush this stuff out of your body. How many of you guys watching work in an environment where you're like, this is lovely, Jen, I can do this all at home, but at work, I'm kind of stuck because they clean with junky products. You wash your hands in the bathroom, right? Sometimes I get a little weird and I'm like, okay, do I want to wash my hands in the toxin or do I want to be gross? I'm like, okay, toxins win every time because I want to be a good friend to the world. But you have to understand, we cannot be 100% perfectly chemical free. Yes, I got mine too, right? And sometimes in a pinch, I'm like, kids, I don't even want you touching here. Let's just do this for everybody. So we got to know that we all are going to either make choices or we're going to be in a situation where we're going to be inundated with toxins. And guys, it's not just like the once in a while. Every day that we overload our sweet liver is another day that we've hit our body with toxins, that we've had a chance to disrupt our hormones. You might want to keep a journal too about how you're feeling mood-wise. Call it a mood journal, like a mood ring, but a mood journal. And just write, what was your day like? How did you feel going through the day emotionally, mentally? Did you feel strong? Did you feel energized? And then note, where were you? What kind of things were going on? What kind of things were being sprayed? did you walk by when they were freshly fertilizing? Because I guarantee they were not using goat poop and worms like they do in Ecuador. Side note, in Ecuador and all our in Ecuador, because they have different standards, they actually raise goats to use their poop for fertilizer for our plants. Like that's legit, straight up organic, using what God gave us. Then they have a worm farm that they create. They grow all these worms, or they raise worms. Is that a thing? Raise them. And those worms go and they help fertilize. They push the goat poop through and they fertilize the dirt and they aerate it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Wait, Mom, what did you say? She broke down how parts of your body regenerate? I missed that.
Sorry.
No problem. What? Or were you, maybe you're having a side question?
It was something else. Sorry.
Okay. I'm like, did I miss it? You know how you have that time where you think, did I say that out loud? Okay. Oh, stink. Now I got sidebarred. Okay. Going through. Oh yeah. Needing to know, just being aware of every day we're all involved in chemicals. We all see chemicals, even if our home is perfect, our environment is not. Doing what you can with your body, taking, like we have that supplement multigreens. Multigreens, you guys, is, you can take 3 at least. You can take more because it's just greens. I don't know how much you guys know about it, but multigreens, it has oils in it. So obviously your body is going to absorb more of it. Without oils, your body only absorbs 20% of the supplement. With oils, it's got peppermint, it's got lemongrass, it has melissa. So those oils in there are going to make it absorb more, up to 65 to 85% in your body. What multigreens does, it's got, chlorella, it's got spirulina, it's got some bee pollen. So a bunch of greens, right? Alfalfa. What it does though, this is amazing, is it helps your body natural ability to oxygenate the cells. So it gives your cells more oxygen. So when you are needing to flush out toxins, you want your cells rich with oxygens. Okay, so that's something that you can do every day. If you're in an environment that, let's say you spend a week at Disney World or Disneyland. I have a little funny story about that. But you want to be taking like 4 to 6 multigreens a day. You want your cells oxygenating. You want them turning over more rapidly. Our cells regenerate every 3 to 4 months about, just so you know, complete turnover. So helping those new healthy cells get more life. Remember we talked about the blood having the fresh oxygen. It goes, from the heart, it goes back to the heart. It takes all those oxygenated cells, all that oxygenated blood. We want our cells to do that. So that's something that you can do if you're like, okay, well, here's the situation. Side note, we went to Disney World when I was 9 weeks pregnant with my daughter. She was born with the organs outside her body. I know you guys watching now, you know that story. A couple of years later, we went to Disneyland and I saw big signs everywhere that said pregnant women beware, warning, like all this stuff. We use chemicals that will cause birth defects or may cause birth defects. I was like, you don't say. I just thought that was very interesting. My daughter I was 9 weeks pregnant with her, and that's the time where the belly and all the guts are formed, from 9 to 12 weeks. I'm just going to leave that right there. You do that with what you want, but none of my other kids had that. So anyway, I digress. So hormone disruptors with your weight management. I know that's the series we're talking about. So let's just talk about that for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go in for some questions, or let Kelly say, here's the thing, guys. You could do the Whole30. You could do paleo. You could do gluten-free, this free, that free, whatever. If your hormones are not firing properly, then you are never going to get a hold of that weight management. That's just that. Our hormones tell our body what to do. I'll give you an example. One hormone in particular that is critical is cortisol. Cortisol is released from your adrenals. I harp on adrenals every single class because I think, how many of us are on here? Well, I'm going to say 7 of you guys, because I take care of my adrenals because like it's my job, because it is. And if I don't, then I'm tired and my family suffers. You guys might struggle with a little bit of adrenal fatigue, I'm not going to speak that over you, but if you have any fatigue at all, if you have any struggle with weight management, and number 3, if you have not addressed your adrenals, then you have the perfect storm for at least the beginnings of adrenal fatigue. You can look up adrenal fatigue in the Google, and the Google will tell you, you probably don't have it. But if you're sleepy at all and you're a normal, healthy adult, you probably have it. Here's why. Here's how I know. Stress, even good stress, releases cortisol in our body. Okay? If it is not properly managed, and I know humans, I've worked with you people for 25 years, right? Doing hair. I get it. We don't want to talk about our feelings. We were all taught that we don't talk about that. We just stuff it, we suck it up, and we drive on. We pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and we move along. Here's what that does. That weighs heavy on your adrenals. Why? Because you are suppressing emotions. You become depressed. It's another word for suppressing. So you become depressed, and that weighs heavy on your adrenals, which are back here, by the way, above your kidneys. And that creates stress in the body because you're not letting it out. You're not journaling, maybe. You're not resolving any unbalanced, unchecked emotions. We are suppressing that, and your adrenals are like, it creates stress in our body. Anytime you create stress in your body, it releases more cortisol, more than you need. Remember, we talked about that. So what was it? Number two, little point on endocrine disruptors can block normal signals. So our normal response, like we're not talking about endocrine disruptors now, we're talking about dealing with feelings and hormones and all that. A normal response is to get it out. That's how God designed our bodies. Just get it out, deal with it, maybe go for a run, maybe go for a walk, yell at the air, smash some plates, whatever you need to do. That is a true story. I'm a good plate smasher. If anyone needs someone to go with them, it does help. Just get it out and then be done with it and not let that cortisol go. The other thing is adrenaline. If you have a high stress job, not only is your body releasing unneeded amounts of cortisol, but it's also releasing adrenaline, which we don't want to run that high. It's different than high frequency. It's just that high, go, 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 run, run, run. It's like we're only meant to sprint. A sprint is a short distance, but when we're racing so fast as if we're doing a sprint, but we're doing it for a marathon, we can kill ourselves. You all know that the guy who ran the original marathon actually died when he got to his destination. He ran it so fast, 26.2 miles. He ran it so fast that ended up dying. We're not meant to do that, you guys. And that's exactly what happens when you, the universal you, are go, 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 because your job is always busy. It's very frantic. It's stressful. And now, it's holidays. Well, we got to go, go, go. If we don't stop and literally smell the roses or your rose oil, whatever you need, or your joy, we can literally kill ourselves. And that's what's happening as you see the weight. Now, how does this work with our weight? I promise. Look, I'm at 4 minutes. I got one more minute, and then I'll let you guys talk. So you're releasing adrenaline. You're releasing cortisol. Your body is in a constant fight or flight state, okay? Animals, I mentioned this last week, but I'm a classical educator, so I repeat. Animals in the animal kingdom do not eat if there's danger around. And if you guys have ever noticed that, I have these dogs, and one of them just is always sketching, just looking around, waiting for the other dogs, like making sure she's okay. Humans, obviously, God designed us just like animals, except for we have the ability to reason. So when we have adrenaline, when we have cortisol going, when we're in a constant fight or flight stage, we tend to feel like we're in danger. Now, the way our brain reasons with itself is we eat more. We snack. It's called comfort food for a reason. So we comfort ourselves. We make ourselves feel better so that we feel safe. That's all it is. Food is just a way to make us feel safe. Now, our world will tell you, oh, well, yeah. Or, you might say, the universal you again, well, I'm a stress eater. I just get stressed, and we just kind of throw up our hands and we don't know what to do about it. But what we can do about it is we can say, let's deal with the stress. Maybe you have a high stress job and you're like, good luck to me. Okay, we have oils for that. Hello, we have a whole oil called Stress Away. Stress Away. I mean, it really does work. Even if you're in that stressful environment, you breathe it in. You could be like kids falling, breaking down the house around you, and you're just like, oh, peace, serenity now, kind of a thing. Peace and calming. Again, we have oils for that. And the way these oils work in your brain is to help those adrenals shush and stop releasing all the adrenaline. Those adrenals shush, stop releasing all the cortisol. As Maribel said here, cortistop. There's a reason why it's named that. Sulfurzyme, that's another class for another day. Those supplements can help that stressful situation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions or comments, or Kelly to speak.
Well, I did want to share a little bit because our class is, and thank you so much for giving all that science-y stuff, because I can listen to you 100 times and it's not going to stay here, because as intrigued as I get, it's not going to stay. So thank you.
Ooh, here, look it. We have an oil for that. Clarity.
Which one is that?
Clarity.
Clarity, yes. I was looking for my Clarity tonight. I wanted to use that, and I ended up using Energy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know. But I wanted to share, because one of the things that you talked about is replacing things. So what are you using and what can you replace it with? And so I wanted to share for those who are watching this later, Young Living actually makes it really easy, because again, like I said, it's easy. And they have 2 starter kits that you can actually start with. The first one is the diffuser with 11 different oils, so that you can get rid of your candles. And of those oils, there's a lot of neat things you can do with them for cleaners. Like lemon is an awesome cleaner. I put it in my laundry soap sometimes when I'm washing whites, or if I have towels that have been hanging on a rod for a week, you need lemon with those towels. Or purification is another good one. Those are 2 great oils that come with that kit. So that diffuser and the 11 oils is a really easy way to replace things in your home that are going to have toxins in them, and these don't. And the other kit, if you just for some reason are not into essential oils, and sometimes I'm sort of rebellious that way. It's like, oh, oils are a fad, I'm not going to do that. That's fine. You can do that. But Young Living also has the Thieves Starter Kit that is just a bundle of replacing your cleaners. The Thieves Household Cleaner comes in that. And this is a bottle that in my house, because it's just my husband and I, lasts me a year. And I can imagine houses with little ones are certainly probably going to go through 2 or 3 of those a year. But you literally just use a capful in a bottle of water, and you can clean your stainless steel refrigerator, or I clean my stainless steel refrigerator, my glass, my floors, the toilet. It's the only cleaner that I buy anymore, along with vinegar and baking soda. So that's really my Saturday bucket now, is those 3 things. And that kit not only comes with the household cleaner, but so many things, your hand soaps, a big sized bottle of Thieves essential oil, your fruit spray, hand sanitizer. What's that other spray? Are they both, what are the sprays?
It's it doesn't come with the fruit and veggie wash. It just comes with 2 Thieves sprays that you can use. I mean, before we had the fruit and veggie wash, honestly, I use that for my veggie wash. I also, just a little side note, I'm like looking around to see if anyone's listening. You can use it to spray, like if your throat gets a little sore, a little scratchy, you can just spray it in. It's a little strong, but it does the trick. There's that tip, especially this time of year.
Oh, and mouthwash. That comes with the mouthwash.
Mm-hmm. Did you say foaming hand soap too?
And foaming hand soaps, yes.
Yes.
And
Stress Away.
2 household cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and toothpaste. Toothpaste / deodorant. A lot of people, Jen taught me this, and I do it, especially when I'm traveling. But anyway, I do use the toothpaste as my deodorant. Just put a little bit on one hand, rub it together, rub it under my arms, and you guys, it works. It's one of those voodoo things that I can't explain.
Totally voodoo. It has baking soda and oils. It's not, that voodoo.
Yeah, it's baking soda and coconut oil. So use it as your toothpaste. Use it as your arm smell away. And so those are 2 ways that Young Living just makes it easy to become toxin free.
And Kelly, do you mind if I just say that? Because you mentioned, like the first one, obviously with the starter kit and the diffuser, which is great. I know many times people will look at that and go, gosh, 11 oils, unless you've been using oils and you're ready to just not use junky oils from the market. And you're like, I'm in, I got that. I would just recommend, at least, especially this time of year in December, and as you're looking ahead to January, the Thieves Kit, because like to your point, when you said about the candles, you get Thieves oil and you get Stress Away in there. So Stress Away can replace your candle. Thieves, gosh, it smells like Christmas. And if you wanted, you could just, again, to copy Kelly, you could add lemon to that, just like I think it's $11.25, or you can add orange, which is even less expensive, which I think is $10.75, just for just a yummy little smell for like Christmas time. But you could also clean with that just to kind of mix it up. But you're right, this is such an easy way to go, wow, one and done, like 160, and all my chemicals are out that are really. Like, remember you guys, I mentioned about the Dirty Dozen with my family. We couldn't afford to completely do chemical free. And sometimes people are like, gosh, I really can't afford to do all of it, or you don't want to afford it, or whatever the situation is. But for 160 and you get it all done like this, your household cleaner, your toothpaste, and your hand soap, all of those things are critical. They're kind of on the same as my fruits and veggies. Like, these are your must, like, don't ever use toxins. Don't ever clean with toxins. Don't ever brush your teeth with something that says call poison control. Like, hello, if it's swallowed, are you freaking kidding me? It's going in your mouth. Like, of course you're swallowing it. What genius put that on the back of toothpaste and thought the American public was like, nah, I just won't swallow it. Come on. It's going in your mouth. So there you go. All one and done. Okay, go on, Kelly.
Nope, that was just it. And then I just brought in here with me like some of my favorite. I'm not a DIY person. You will not find me doing a bunch of stuff.
I know, I'm like, she says that, but
I know, I say that, but I make my own wood cleaner, you guys. Olive oil, vinegar, and lemon essential oil. And I spray this on our bedroom furniture every Saturday. Our furniture gets sprayed. The olive oil helps to condition it. And this is what I use for my furniture dusting instead of that aerosol stuff. Oh my gosh, that aerosol stuff is not only bad for you, but it's bad for our planet. And then this is something that I make, and I sprinkle it on my carpets before I vacuum, and it just makes the house smell so good before company comes over. Right now I have Christmas spirit in it.
Oh, yum.
Oh, it's so yummy. So those are just a couple of my DIY things. I don't use the spray on my sofa and curtains like I used to use anymore. Instead, I use another small bottle. I bought a bunch of these on Amazon for maybe $10, a bunch of them. And so I have another one that I've labeled as just air freshener, and I've got purification in it. And so it's really easy, and it's inexpensive. You know, you start with that upfront cost of the kit, but after that, you're just using things that you have around the house to move forward with it.
Yeah, and absolutely. And see, the thing is most of us spend at least $100 at Target anyway. We've actually saved so much money by not going to Target, because I don't know about you guys, but I go to Target for toilet paper, and then it ends up costing me $200. And I'm like, that's the most expensive toilet paper ever, because all these other things just fall into my cart. It's the weirdest thing. So this keeps you out of Target, and all those little products at Target might hurt you.
Yes.
So, yeah. And I know I said 160 for the thieves. Did you say it's 160 for the other?
The kit is the starter, I'm sorry, the diffuser kit is 160. I believe the thieves kit is 170.
Okay, I'm totally giving bad information. I'm so sorry.
Wait, I'm looking. No, it's 160 also. The other kit there must be the third kit that's 170. What is the third kit?
I know the Ningxia Red is.
The Ningxia is 170, but you're right. Both of those other kits are 160.
Yeah.
The two that we talked about are 160.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Does anybody have any questions? We'll go ahead. We can open it up in the last couple minutes about hormone disruptors, anything we talked about, clarification. When we talk about low sperm count because of that, I mean, listen, I can just go on. There's so many things I didn't mention, which makes me think, all these people can't have babies. I'm like, there's a reason.
True. And Jen, next week's topic is going to be hormones. So we can talk more about that next week on Monday.
I know, it's just, I keep feeling like I repeat myself because I said a lot of the same things tonight that we did last week. So, yeah.
That's okay.
Maybe tomorrow, next Monday, we'll dive into hormones, men and women.
Yes. And I have favorite products that I would love to share. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Does anybody want to ask any questions in the chat? I know we get kind of funny when we, all talk at once. You can just type in if you have questions, comments. Anybody not going to Disneyland anymore?
Well, if it's not for the gators, now it's the chemicals too. Wow.
It's not the happiest place on earth anymore. All right, you guys. Well, I guess that's it then. Yeah, Kelly?
Yeah. Thank you, Jen.
My pleasure. Thank you. I loved hearing what you had to say about Sweet Darcy and all that. So
she's snoring on the floor at my feet right now. So she's all good.
She's